Hello everybody, and welcome to our normal Wednesday show. I'm super keen to get into today's action. Oh my goodness, Ty, have we seen Value Town come into the markets in the commodities, in the dollar index? What else have we had? The crypto market falling. Maybe some people don't like that, but I don't care because it's okay at the moment. And I think this actually is pretty healthy for the longer term. Ty, how you going this week, man? It's fantastic.
Good. I think there's been some really good opportunities. I think there's still setups waiting to go. Like we said a few weeks ago, we think it's going to ramp up towards the end of the year. I think we're going to have a fantastic 4 to 6 week period. I think 2 of those weeks have already started, really. So hopefully it'll continue on for the next month and we can really reap the rewards of some of these key breaks. But welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, thank you so much for joining us. Now, as usual in this show, what we like to do is we like to go through some currency discussion, and then we move into some commodities discussion, do some indices and some crypto and some stocks as well. And there's plenty to cover today, though I will maybe have a small rant later about what's going on in the stock market indices with Tyrone, because I tell you what, it's kind of annoying me, Ty, that they're going up to these peaks again and they're being slow and they don't want to touch the 20 moving average like they always do. And I think it's a great discussion for the private community as well about whether we need to really change our trading style or whether we just want to stick to what we know works consistently. And I think sometimes people can deviate from that. And we always want to be able to say, can we replicate our concept time and time again? And by deviating from it, sometimes we make mistakes there. So, Ty, did you want to start here with the US dollar CAD? Why not? Do you want to start here, or have you talked enough about this in the rooms?
Look, all I want to say about it is that if anybody took the Tuesday market watch trade, you should have obviously been out by now, and yeah, just probably wait for the next break. I think if we get the break above the 125.80, I mean, it hit the target earlier today, so you should be well and truly out. But if you want to get in again, probably wait for the break of the 125.80 now and a retest of that, and we start aiming for the next level, which is around that sort of 127. Really, I think the CAD's it's done its job, really. Yeah, I think everyone, if you really want to know the CAD analysis, go to the Tuesday market watch video. That should cover that one. Yeah, we won't spend too much time on the CAD.
And you can find that, guys. I find some people don't see these enough, Ty. So if you go into our Discord community and you're in the private Discord community, remember, we do create Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday content for you guys. It's all here in the private one. Plus, of course, there's the bot and everything else. So you should be able to see all these rooms. And if you're only seeing the wrong rooms and you're part of it, please message us and we can try to sort that out for you. So, anyone that's not seeing the correct rooms, just let us know if they are a member of the private community. DJ AJ joining us, 4 a.m. stream. He says Steam because it's so early. He's in the Steam. He's in the Steam room, and he said, "Glad I'm here. Great to have you here. Thank you so much for your support and for everyone that's joining us all over the world. Some of the times aren't good for this time slot in Australia. I know that." We also have another one that says, Kim Lim says, crypto needs to crash so Tom can be shocked like he was on live stream. Never shocked me like that again, Kim. That was when polka dot Ty went from like $42 to about $14 on the stream. And I was almost speechless. You know how there's those pivotal points in our career where you see these crashes and you think, oh, it's the worst. That was one of them, for sure. That was horror. That was a horror day for sure. Everyone was sitting on the stream. Even the chat was speechless.
It was pretty crazy. It was crazy.
It was nuts. So let's move over to the DXY, talk about what's going on right now. So we've had that breakout since our last discussion, and I'm sure many people in the community, especially the currency traders, have been bonanzaing all over it. We broke through that 94.50 area. Huge deal. We've been talking about this for weeks. We didn't deviate from being bullish overall on the DXY. We got rewarded with the nice bullish closure out here, and it's been a bonanza since that point. The obvious trade to counter this has been, of course, the euro US dollar. We've seen a lot of strength, a lot of weakness coming out of that one. And I think it probably relents here, Ty, a little bit. But I've got plans up to the 97. I know you do too, and possibly even beyond. But this is the first area that I feel like, you know what, I think we've hit it. I think we've hit the first zone where maybe the DXY says, whoa. It's got to slow a little bit here. This is a big move. What are your thoughts?
It is a big move. I love it. The Eve Adam double bottom was just really, really nice. Playing out quite nicely. But one of the biggest momentum shifts that has happened in the last week hasn't been actually currency or stock related. It's been our channel going over 1,000 subscribers. Thomas, tell them what that means. Tell them what that means. Tell the people what that means.
Well, firstly, the video won't lag as much when you rewatch it. So that's going to be a good one. So bonuses to you, it means that. But for us, I think it means that we can introduce the monetization of YouTube. But more importantly, of course, you can view it and it won't be laggy. I find that when you get past that 1,000 subs on YouTube, if anyone does have a channel, I don't know why, but it tends to reward you with nice stream content for everybody around the world, which is very handy. So that's good. So DXY hitting this first level of resistance tie. It's quite far away from the weekly 20 now, which we know it's like to bounce off. We go into the daily timeframes here, and we're seeing it pretty far away again from that area. We go down to the 4 hour. Obviously, the 4 hour kind of bounced around that zone. And we're looking for the most obvious level that it might come back down to, whether that's a 2 hour 20 or a 4 hour 20. I'd be watching those zones this week and looking for lightning bolts off either of them. So 2 hour 20 or 4 hour 20, I think both would be interesting areas to watch and interesting areas to be spotting for potential bull pickups in the DXY. Just that blatant demand picking it back up. But it has hit the first resistance and it's done it so quickly. It's kind of annoying in some ways. Yeah, it is kind of annoying how fast it's done it. Let's move over to some other pairs here in the currency world. And if you have a currency pair that you think is setting up very well, please let us know because we do want to cover that. We've got the odd US dollar. That's also found some weakness here. It's broken through. Now, the Aussie's a little bit different to me, Ty. It's broken through or it's trying to break through to a new low. Could this consistently go further down, do you think, to something like a 72 kind of 20, even with the DXY and US dollar where it's at? What are you thinking about the weakness here?
Yeah, I'm loving the weakness here. It's been playing the game very, very well ever since it did that reversal up the top, which was probably one of the most predictable trades of the year once it started to go down, actually. I think it can, I think, I know it's not going down as fast as obviously the euro is, but in saying that, it was trying to push past 75 not that long ago. So I think 72 is in its sights. I think that we want to see a break of this low now, a break good and proper of this level, and I think it will target the 72. I reckon it wants it, but it does need to prove itself first. It wouldn't surprise me to see it screw around a bit here, and maybe retest that zone again and pretend it's going to double bottom. We all know it's not going to double bottom. We don't think it's going to double bottom. I didn't say we know. It's not going to double bottom. No,
I don't know anything.
No, we don't know for sure. But what we want to do is make sure we test that, right? We want to make sure that it gets below there, closes below it, and then I think we start targeting the 72 with pullbacks down to the or up to the 20 moving average on the way down. But it's providing some good opportunities.
Yeah, super pivotal point for the odd. This could even bring up some counter kind of positions as well, where we could be looking at other odd pairs. We could look at something like the euro odd. Maybe we expect euro to have bottomed here. It might break through this 2050. We know that when you break past moving averages, previous support as well, becoming resistance currently, what happens? That could act as support, and that further weakness that we might be expecting from the odd, maybe the euro strengthens against that. So there's all sorts of currency crosses that we could be looking at as well in the markets at this stage. And I think that's super exciting as well when we're talking about the markets. Like we've got this euro odd, but not so much the euro odd, but the odd US dollar. We do have the pound US dollar. That's been a request here. So let's have a look at the pound US dollar. Take a look at this daily. So this held up much better than I would have expected. I mean, this was nowhere near as weak as the euro. It held up very, very well, but it's got almost like a tweezer top on it here, Ty. What are your thoughts about weakness here or strength? I mean, imagine if it closed above that. Whew, yeah, that's bullish, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. But I think the preferred trade is actually probably still to see weakness here. You'll see that the last two big legs down are almost identical. They're probably, I reckon they're almost the exact same length. And I reckon that actually it's almost three of them. But I reckon if we do get a break lower again, you can see the body of the last two big red candles almost identical.
That's about 80% too, which is about normal. Yep.
Yeah. So I reckon if we get a breakdown below that mini flag, I reckon that's probably going to be targeting that 132, I reckon. And it does coincide with a lot of. It's got resistance here from previous resistance. Don't worry about that. Like it's got support here from the previous resistance. This is not an easy trade, not by any stretch. I think that it's been resilient. It's been very, very strong. So I'm thinking that it needs to prove itself a bit like the Aussie. We want to see it play the game and break to a new low. But if we do get that new low, I think it really opens itself up down to the 132.
Yep. Pound US dollar. We do have a question here from 56th Parallel, and he says weekly sitting on the 200. Let me go over to the weekly here. Must be 200 EMA, I guess not the SMA. But regardless, look, the thing you're looking for here is, say we close around this zone. If you're looking bullish, a closure above these wicks. I've often talked about what happens there. You're basically smashing all the shorters. So at this point, all their stop losses is getting hit. And in some ways, it's kind of like that squeeze where people are looking towards the bullish side of the market. You get that huge push up, and that's what you're looking for. You want to close above this zone. Other than that, Tyron's talking to the weakness, which is currently what the price action is telling us. It's looking more weak than strong. It's only if you see a very particular reversal that I think that the strength comes in.
We would change our mind on a dime if it broke up higher past that level. Don't worry about that. Hannah asks us our view on inflation. Okay, that's a good question. Very serious question.
It's a very serious question. We'll take a look at that in a second. Let's just do New Zealand US dollar here, Ty. Another one of the questions that we had coming in. It's just a currency related one. And we have natural gas from Kim. I'm not going to forget you, Kim. Don't worry. And I'm not going to forget the maximum pain discussion. We'll do it a little bit later. So we've got Tyron here for the whole time. Now, New Zealand US dollar weekly. Basically, this is, I mean, it's kind of like the odd, but it's weakening. Actually, tell me this. What is this thing trading at? 69.9. What's the odd trading at? 72. Okay. For some unknown reason, I thought maybe the New Zealand was suddenly becoming stronger than the odd. And I was thinking, remember when they were 20 cents apart? Yes, 25 cents apart or something like that for a long time.
I remember it well.
New Zealand currently looking weaker as well. At this point, you've got that rejection candle. If you got in on this trade here, by the way, well done. If you got that follow through, nice. It is on a bit of a roll reversal. I don't like it as much as the odd. I'll say that right now. Ty, do you like it as much as the odd? I feel like it's kind of stuck.
I feel like it's got a lot more trouble in front of it. See the if you go to the left, you see there's a lot of trouble right where it's at right now. Even off this chart, you need to go zoom out a little bit more. That's what worries me about this one. I think it's got a bit more headwind in front of it.
Yeah, a little bit more problems, I think, here. And you can see it when you zoom out, as Tyron mentioned.
Look at that.
A lot of stuff.
We have
a question coming in about inflation. Look, we won't go broadly into inflation. It's probably a discussion you could have for a long time. I will go with the belief that while I do think you're clearly seeing every stat showing inflation right now, we're seeing, in some ways, hyperinflation style stats coming out of a pandemic, coming out of the monetary policy we've seen so far. That's part of it. Plus, I think the stimulus checks across the board has been a big part of it. I want to see the numbers 2022. I don't believe inflation will get out of control. I don't also believe that QE is inflationary the way that people think it is. And I always go back to Japan for that aspect. But in general, it's all going to come down to this US 10-year. Where is this going? And will the Fed be forced to possibly do an interest rate hike faster than expected? If your US 10-year gets past 2, then I might be having a very different discussion with you. 2% is a very important point here for the inflation numbers and for the US 10-year. And when we go over here, you'll see why. 2% above that, all of a sudden, where's the next TA level? 2.5, 3. I mean, we're talking some pretty big ramps and some issues, I think, in the economy.
Yeah, I think one thing you've got to really keep in mind is, look, inflation's not a pretty thing. It's not, right? We don't want it. It's not great for the markets. But let me tell you what's even worse for the market, and that's deflation. Okay, so inflation can be controlled. There are mechanisms and levers that the Fed can use to stimulate the economy again. There's things that it can do, whereas a deflation is something that they can't actually do anything about. Okay, so although neither of them are great for the economy, the lesser of two evils is inflation, because there is levers that they can pull. You can't, there's not much they can do about deflation. That's you've only got to look at Japan for that, right? So you've got to be very, very, very conscious of the fact that although they keep talking up inflation, it's always bad for the market and blah, 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 blah. It is something that can be, not to an extent that it can be completely controlled, but it can definitely be managed. Okay, so there is things that they can do about it to actually try and fix or alleviate that problem. Deflation is a very, very different matter. So we don't want to go too much into it, because look, at the end of the day, is it going to make any difference on the trading that we do? Probably not really, to be honest. But but just be aware. Although they talk it down, there are things that they can do to actually nullify it a little bit. So don't be too scared of the propaganda. Is my probably tip there.
Tyrone's basically cut it through the middle there. He said there are means and methods to potentially deal with the situation. What you're looking for in terms of big market crashes and really big issues across time is not so much necessarily the inflation side of things. You're looking for that systemic risk output. I'm not going to discount Evergrande. Everybody discounts Evergrande. I know in the back of my mind that is a problem for multi-years away. And when that problem comes out and it rears itself, believe me, I truly believe that the property market will bring in the next crash. That's my belief, okay? And that's how I think about the markets. And I don't discount it, but I also know they're probably going to try to plug the hole for now. So it's going to become that out of control issue that somebody deals with in the future. You know how they are, Ty. They throw it somewhere else for now. You probably agree with me on that one too, I think.
100%.
Yeah,
100%.
Evergrande.
It's a story for another day.
Yeah. So let's talk about US dollar yen. This was mentioned here as something that's coming out. Absolutely. US dollar yen, huge breakout here on the daily. Very big deal. We've seen US dollar yen also strengthen, Ty, haven't we? While the DXY was basically doing nothing. So we've seen yen weakness, US dollar strength, big closure here on the daily. Certainly one that people will be looking at in the currency charts, and something that I think could be looked at. This is from Michael. Well done, Michael. You are correct. That is a fantastic spot. Ulrich also likes pound euro. Let's have a quick look here, and then I think that will probably finish
that
up
weekly stuff. Yeah, that weekly flag on the euro, on the USD yen too. Yeah. I know we talked about it and half joked about it. Go to the weekly for 1 second.
Yep.
I know that we half joked about it and said if this goes, look, that is a dead set flag. Make no mistake. And now that it's broken out, it really is a flag. And that's why I said, look at it go straight, proofing into the next serious level. Look out for a break of this zone, because this is exciting sort of stuff. I like it.
Big profit, big potential. Very nice spot there, Ty. And good call on the looking at the flag lengths, because that thing is looking good. What are these? What is this? Why are these pound euro? I don't even know if this is correct data. So this is looks to be breaking out 1.9. Let me just quickly. There we go. That's better. I just need to change those labels there. So I'm not sure if I've got this right. Rejected off the monthly at 1.9 pound euro. Is this even right? Do you have any other brokers here? Why do I not have pound euro? Saxo. Okay, that must be it. Yeah, 1.19. Okay, cool, perfect. So Ulrich's asked about this one. All right, so this is in a massive holding consolidation, almost like a giant Wyckoff pattern. A giant channel, realistically, is what most people will look at it as. Wow, imagine if that breaks out past 1.2. What a huge zone that'll be. This is a multi-year zone. August 2016 to 2021, this thing's been trapped. I don't even know about this one. I haven't looked at it for so long. It's acted relatively technically down the bottom. Nice breakout down here. Very good. Ulrich loves these spots of what I would call deeper value, Ty. He's showgun in the rooms if anyone wants to chat to him, but he finds some big ones. He picked Rolls Royce. I give him credit there, and he's got a bit of a top kind of a channel coming through on this one here. So not bad spot. Certainly a very interesting zone. Kind of just hit resistance, and that 1.2 might be worth a multi-year alert on that one. So we've got questions coming in about IWM, questions coming in about market indices. I want to keep Ty on this discussion point before we go back over silver and gold. So let's just quickly go to the DX, to the US 500 to start with, Ty, and let's zoom in here on where we're at. So the futures here, a little bit bearish at the start. I mean, we're talking 0.04. I'll move to SPX, get the real market. So here's our trend line. Here's the discussion points we had before. We have the closure tie exactly on the same close. Could this be a double top starting, or is this thing just going to power on? What are your thoughts here?
This is where people come unstuck with technical analysis. They're seeing an all-time high. They're seeing a potential double top, and they'll start trading the damn thing as a double top until it fails and breaks out longer. Could it be a double top? Absolutely, it could. Would I attempt to try and make this? This is not one of those double tops that you try to put an aggressive entry in and short it to the neckline, right? This is not one of them. This is one of the ones that will be out there to try and screw you over. You definitely want to be just letting this play out. If it falls, it's got a good way to fall. Okay. Don't worry about that. Let it play out. Let it break a key zone. In my mind, this has made up its mind, and it's made trading on this pair very, very easy. We either break that yellow line right there. So we break the US 500 breaks down past that 60, the 46 sort of 50 area.
20 won't hold it this time.
No, if it breaks down there, it's fucked. And if it goes up above, I
think that's a bit aggressive. Where's your when you say that? Where is it going? Do you think it's
going all the way down there?
3.77%. Such aggression for 3.77%.
That's an aggressive move. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to say that. And if
you demonetized this.
And if it breaks above that top channel, it's going to go another leg longer. It's as simple as that. I think it's very, very easy in my mind. It needs to either break below here and break below the 20, or break above the previous high there. Either way, I'd be happy to trade either direction. But it's got to do it. Don't try and attempt to short it from here, because that's a very, very dangerous trade.
Yeah. Well,
that term is not in the course.
Yes. No. So on our day of monetization, we got demonetized. That's all right. And anyway,
I do apologize.
That's all right. Sorry. We had a rough day. So we've gone through the SPX here, and we have the top. I agree with Ty. It's one of those ones where I don't think it's horrible to have a crack here, but you've got to be willing to realize what you're doing. If you short it up here and you put a little stop above here, how often are you going to be wrong? A lot of the time.
Yes.
So if you believe that it's going down and that's your belief and you want to have a go, I mean, you could, but please be aware that you will lose that trade a lot of the percentage of the time, because it's going to be a risk reward that's going to pay off very, very heavily.
Very low risk. Very, very low reward to risk trade, that one. Highly dangerous, simply because it's out to screw people. And I really mean that. You want to be really, really careful with that trade. It's really easy if it breaks those key levels. But where it is right now is the danger zone. So just be really careful.
Graham says he's looking forward to the FXE conference next year, Ty. What dates are those? I don't even know anymore. Tell me. Speak to me.
The 12th and the 13th of March. There is a lot of fun to be had. You just wait till Thomas gets drunk and you think I pushed the levels. Goodness.
I'm straight. What do they call it? Straight edge nowadays, Ty. Straight edge. Was that what they say? I don't know what it is. I think that's the word. Anyway, double top, very definitely very possible. And if we move down here, don't expect the 20 to be a holder. It's going to be that 50 that's more likely there. The previous resistance. It's what I would like, and it's probably what Ty would like in the market here. It'd be healthier than it to go off bullish aggressiveness.
Absolutely.
But we do still have bullish tendencies into the end of the year. Don't get us wrong. But I wouldn't mind it down here first before it goes up. And for us to continue our glorious trend here. And this goes the same for the QQQ. When we have a look at the Nasdaq, it's the same principle. I would like for our beautiful ascending channel that we have used now for months to continue, because you know what? It makes it easy. When it works, it makes it easy, and then we can stick to it. And that's fantastic stuff. So yeah, we've really got this kind of resistance coming through. Again, Nasdaq fell further, however, didn't hit the 20. This could be weakening here today. We'll have to find out what really brings in. Maybe NVIDIA will be the catalyst. If it breaks to a new high, of course, as Tyron said, there's going to be probably a few good days of green that come out of that. So look for that for your day trades. IWM, Ty, will finish up here. I think you've got to go in a second. So IWM, this is the Russell 2000. We have here previous resistances becoming like a level of support. So resistance, 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 support. We clearly analyzed the bullish breakout the other day. I was pretty convinced that it would come straight back down after that, because at the same time as we hit this high, guess what we hit? We hit the resistances on the NAS, the resistances on the SPX, and of course that has what's dropped it. If you're looking at getting back into this pair and it doesn't come back into the buy zone, possibly 2-hour time frame might be worthwhile checking out. And I'm breaking it down from the aspect of this. I'm basically saying, okay, if we can get above this area here, actually we'll use 1 hour. If we can get above this previous support acting as resistance currently, then we should be able to continue to move through. And this has been in a 2021 monster channel. So Ty, what do you think about that breakout to the upside? Should it occur if we don't go down? That would be, I think this is the better index. Have a look at this.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's good. I think both trades are good, really. Yeah, I do like it. A pullback would be really nice. But if it doesn't go all the way, I agree. A break of that move up. I do like this index. I know we don't cover it enough. We probably don't. I like it. Yeah, I think it's.
Well, I didn't cover it because it was hideous.
Yeah, it looks really, really messy. But you know what? It looks like it's supposed to do something. I think that.
Oh yeah, it's broken out. Look at that. Yeah, the thing with this is an option trader's dream, a credit seller's dream. This was credit seller's dream all year, but now it's become a trader's potential dream, because we've broken out, and then we know that A equals B from a technical perspective. So we're looking towards that 260, 258 area, and we've got that bullish intention now. We've got that optimism. It's coming with a seasonal. All things are pointing towards hopefully some strength here in the Russell 2000. I would love to see it. We've got time for a few more minutes. We'll go through gold here, Ty. So still same principle, December, November strength, 17, 18, 19, 20. We expect this to continue. We did see a false break yesterday, which is a little nasty. It's actually very nasty. So we've got that proper break through 1832, no daily break past the 1870. And then if we go to the 2 hour, you'll notice the 2 hour and the 4 hour broke to a new high and then fully reversed. It's very sneaky and very annoying if you're day trading this, because if you're day trading, you may have had to stop here. And guess what? If you didn't have the conservative one, you got hit.
Yeah.
Should we lose faith or not?
I'm just reading Barack's comment. He just said,
what did he say?
That I said fact. It's just the Aussie accent.
True, Barack. True.
Absolutely
Barack's
right.
Smart. He
that
knows.
Is very, very clever. Yes.
Thank you very much. You got some good comments there, guys.
Yeah. Be careful with gold. That's my warning here. I think that, look, it's done a good move. Do I think it's got more in it? I think it has, especially before the end of, Jan comes around. I think we've got 2 months of probably really good strength. Will it pull back to a level to get you in? I mean, imagine if it came back to the 1830 now. Wouldn't that be nice? Wow. That would be an awesome pull out, like all the way back to the 1830 and then long from there. That would be really, really nice. I'd love to see that, actually. That would be really, really good.
A lot of people don't understand why we like these types of things. It's because in our strategies, what we tend to do is once we get a bullish bias and we believe in a concept, we believe in the seasonal, we believe in the actionable data, a lot of things that I actually talk about in the mentoring and go almost hyperactive on, it gives us that ability to really push through this concept of multi-month trading. And when we have multi-month trading and multi-month biasing, then we have absolute confidence. No one's going to sway us. You could tell Tyrone, gold's going to 1600 and give him all these valid reasons. And he's going to say, I saw it break 1832 and I'm excited.
Exactly. Yeah, no, it gives you the bias. Imagine if it's there in the first week of December, like, it's not even talk dirty like that. But now that's awesome. I think that you've got to be really careful with where it's at the moment. I think it could go down $30 easily. It could go up $30. And that to me is a dangerous trade. So just be really careful right now. But we're going to be paying a lot more attention to this very, very shortly. But guys, on that, I have to leave a little bit earlier tonight, so I'm going to leave you in Thomas's capable hands. Thank you so much for joining us. I look forward to seeing you at Friday Wrap tomorrow morning. Q&A tomorrow. I'm on the meds. And of course on Friday. But thank you, and I'll leave you in Thomas's capable hands.
All right, guys. Time to talk crypto. Time to talk the rest of the markets, and we'll let Tyrone, we'll remove him. There we go. He's gone. So now we'll talk about some silver just quickly here, and then we'll get into some of the crypto markets and, of course, some stocks here as well. So silver, look, good little turnaround. This actually has got a better technical on it from the resistance standpoint. It's come back and tested that area. It's bounced off it. Anyone that was being a patient beaver here on silver may have enjoyed the trade so far today, and hopefully we can get a new high. We're looking for that 25.40 to break through the next week. And once that goes, a new level of participation, similar to gold, getting through that 1870. Should that occur, we're going to continue to get that participation. Expect explosive moves. And for anyone that got a bit gun shy on gold, I very much doubt that it false breaks twice. So if we get back above this loan over here, you've got to be prepared to get back into the concept should you be a trader. Sometimes things aren't going to work out. You've got to dust yourself off. And unfortunately, you've got to get back involved. And that's what it means. It's not making irrational decisions, but it's making rational conceptual decisions. So we'll go into a couple of other ones that we had here. We had natural gas for Kim. So he wants me to look at natural gas. Let's check that out. It's a nice little double bottom kind of concept here, 2 hour. But let's have a look at the bigger time frames. So we've been following natural gas on the channel for a little while. And we followed it pretty heavily, if I remember rightly, around this 4. It went kind of explosive on its move. So we had it down here. Yeah, May 21, we started talking about it. We talked a lot about it in August, and it continued to break up. And it went past our resistance. And you'll notice it hit right in that 650 bracket, which is pretty much these 3 highs. So we've got a high from 10, we've got a high from 13, and a high from now. The problem with natural gas is it can be explosive, but it can also, it can sit for a long time. You can really get stuck involved in this trade. So if we're going through the timeframes, I think this is a fair pickup here, Kim. It's a double bottom, no doubt. It's come back and it's retested. If we get a nice little bullish buy off here or a little lightning bolt smaller time frame, that'd be good. And what I'd probably also look for is the break of the uptrend here. So just making sure that it's fully through this zone and there's no skeptical kind of capabilities. Because remember, that's a bearish shooting star here. And that's what we need to break through. So break the bullish movement, break the recovery trend like we talk about in the mentoring. I know you know what I'm talking about. And once we get through there, then we're starting that repair session. So that's something that's going to be very, very important. Terry M says gas can be explosive, eh? Yeah, that's right. Exactly. It could be like LPG. All right, let's move to the other one. So we had maximum pain theory. We'll cover off in a minute. And I did want to go through some crypto because, of course, it's moving as we speak. And this is for the Bitcoin, Ethereum kind of traders out there and everybody else in the markets. Bitcoin continues to have issues with this 59K. There's a few important things that we saw. We saw the close or the movement below the 20 moving average. We expected weakness. I had a gut feeling on this. I also saw it in the Ethereum trade, and that weakness went straight into the 50. Now, should we get through this low, I truly feel like it's going to be really big short. Now, it has to get through here because when that happens, basically all the orders thin out. So once you get underneath the zone like this previous resistance, support, and the 50, there's not as much orders there. It creates that fast algorithmic crash that we're so used to in crypto markets. And I still think the end of the year looks really good, but this could be a 20%er. So let's have a look. Top to bottom, what are we currently at? We're at about 14.5%. If we go down to this bottom down here, about 23%. And that's traditional before large moves. I've detailed this a few times. My belief is the crypto market kind of has one of those nasty dips, the big whale lows. They come in, they swim on in, they eat all the plankton up, and they go, delicious plankton. And then they float on and back out to sea. And when they're floating on back out to sea, that allows the market to come back in. So they've eaten all of the plankton, they eat all the krill or whatever, they get it down to this level, and then we see that next move. And I would like this to be an ABC pattern. So basically, pullback concept here. This was what I originally wanted. Let's say we get, I don't know, a 55 out of it. That'd be pretty nice. And then we can go, okay, well, we've seen the previous distances that's gone up being this distance is very equal to this distance. So what about the third one? Will we get a third leg like this? This pushes us into 80K territory. Exciting for Bitcoin. I'm not bearish it. I just think that it's looking like it's bailing around here. Day traders need to be very careful. You're pretty much looking at every single one of these candles and you're saying, do we have a turnaround story? So far, it's a series of lower highs. And look at this during this webinar, during this live stream, we're seeing, oh my goodness, I want to watch it. Here we go. Get down. Go underneath. Come on now. Do it for us live. Why can't we see you? We're going to go 5-minute chart, 15-minute chart. Here we go. We need to see it get underneath this little low or a little bias up. There'll be some lines here. We'll read the chat while we wait. Wait for BTC going to 53K. Very similar to what I thought. The MT GOX coins get back to the market. Well, they're coming back. Really? I didn't know that. BTC is the place where sooner or later the miners dump on you, says Daniel. Well, it's also basically the index of the crypto market. So when Ethereum and BTC fail a little bit, there we go. Just got through then. So let's find out whether it likes to go week. Usually when you get through an important zone, it tends to just go blur. DJ AJ says, plash, please. And Monica says, I don't know why, but Wyckoff tops typically have 4 subtops. Yeah. Well, they're basically channels. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. You need at least 2 to the top side. Tom, next week is Thanksgiving and everyone is expecting a rally. My big brain gut is telling me it's not going to happen. Yeah, a lot of people, I mean, that is traditionally the rally time. It actually, I can't remember what happened during 17. I know that the Christmas period, I believe that was actually weak. But look, I can't remember exactly what happened back in 17. I need to go check it out. It is true. Most people do expect that Thanksgiving is going to be a big area. So we'll see whether this closes below. We'll revisit it in a few minutes here. We'll go over to Ethereum. Ethereum obviously also struggling here. This was probably the cleaner trade because we had that week, that daily 20. The daily 20 continued to bounce up. Then we saw it move below that 20 moving average and then boom, straight into the 50 moving average very, very quickly here. And that's the kind of momentum trade that you see in crypto. Should we get underneath on Bitcoin, which is going to be the lead, then of course Ethereum should also drop accordingly. And all the other coins are starting to weaken. One of my favorites, KSM, weakened heavily, went up to a beautiful level. I had that 500 on it all day. I thought that was a good level and it hit it. And now it's all the way back down. And maybe I got to go find me some KSM again, some Pokemon dots and some KSM. ADA 182, 180, that's getting low. I mean, that could really get crippled a little bit here as well on the way down. So watch the Bitcoin. It's at the all-important level. That's just my 2 cents there. Move on over to Tesla. Tesla 1067, similar to my daily video on this. I'm still looking for it to get past 1100. But I think for the room, let's go into some of these more interesting pairs here for a second. And we have a few interesting pairs. So we have here ACB, which is an agricultural commodity Aurora cannabis stock. Now, people have started getting excited about this. We had the earnings and it actually pushed through. Now, this is a speculative position, but from the resistance standpoint, it broke through a very key level and actually bounced back off that. So you can see that even with this, it's basically a Wyckoff. I mean, some people call it inverse head and shoulders. But in many ways, that is in many ways a Wyckoff because you've got that maximum pain concept down here and you've got a really strong resistance. So the accumulation base on ACB, very interesting from the trade perspective. ABB, another one that's coming up to this resistance here, nice little coil, getting ready to try to break out. You can see the low, you can see the resistance and it's trying to close out. That will be a big one that we watch here as a community. SWK, another one that's breaking out at this stage. Downtrend, double bottom, broken out. You can see the strength here, the potential also to the upside. This is a tools and hardware, Stanley Black & Decker, the company. BMY, another one that's kind of hovering around these lows after kind of finding some strength and recovery. And John Deere as well. We've been watching this for a while. If they get their deal done, if it is done, we do have earnings, which is a little bit annoying. But John Deere in the middle of the channel, but with a strong pattern coming on up. Boeing, another one that's got a fairly strong pattern here. I think Boeing's finally done it. It's finally made the rules of recovery. Downtrend, breach. Surely it's time for Boeing to do better. Boeing, it just can't be this bad for this long and with this technical. Surely. That's what you would think. David Taylor says, put the Flocky chart there, will you, Tom? Oh, this Flocky thing. What is this? Like a coin or something? Flocky tether. But how this, David, it's scary. The Flocky tether just kind of looks like something going down. I wish I could say something better about it, but it doesn't. It's got no data on it yet, man. If we had data, we could make a better analysis. We do not have the data. It's on maybe a basic support, a little bit of wick buying, and it's at that level. That's all I'd say for the Flocky. Trishan says, can we look at GGPI, please? It's Polystar EV. Is it this? Or is it something else? That looks mad. That looks pumpy dumpy, frankly. It looks pumpy dumpy. I don't know if that's the one you want me to look at, but yeah, it looks a little bit pumpy dumpy. Amazon, quickly look at this one. Nothing's really changed with our Amazon analysis. Still hoping for this thing to finally get through. The explosive point for this is going to be 3,600. We breached 3,600. We should see that further participation. I'm still aiming for that 39,400 on this stock, and I think it's partially undervalued at this point. Got the downward trend here being reversed. We've obviously got the higher time frame lightning bolt. There's a lot to like about it. Even the volume was up recently on trade, which shows a few big players have come into it. Yeah, Trishan, if that's the one, unfortunately, it just looks really pumpy. You have to go into the small time frames. It's very difficult for me to look at it because it's all about those are the ones that you have to focus on during the day. You have to look at the 15-minute, the 1 hour, very time-intensive trades. Every minute matters on those types of things. Every single minute matters on those trades. So I want to talk about something that was a question of the private Discord community, and this was about maximum pain and when to use it and when not to use it. So firstly, this question was brought to us by, because I kind of need to apologize to them because I missed them on Monday. Where are we here? Misi. So Misi asked about this, and it was an explanation in regards to, good morning. I do not have a clear what open interest from maximum pain on trading ticks means. When you have a higher call than puts on Wall Street, does that mean the bullies or the opposite bearish? So that's more about a call wall question. But maximum pain in general is the concept of where if in a perfect world, come options expiry, the market would close to make the most amount of money from the option riders. Now, traditionally, the options riders are not normally retail herd. They're usually banks. So remember, if we know the stat is 70% of options expire worthless, sometimes they'll be able to hit it to the maximum level. And they ideally want to get it towards these zones. It is not a theory that I use all the time, okay? How I would use it is this. If you have a channel or a range-bound market, would I use maximum pain theory and potentially use option strategies around that, butterflies, etc.? The answer is yes, I would. Because at that point, when you're in a range, it's much easier for the market to manipulate to the correct level, to the perfect zone. The reason why a lot of the time the maximum pain won't work is because in general, there are more puts opened in the markets in terms of there's a lot of fear in the markets than calls a lot of the time. Now, the put call ratio will be something like 0.7 or something like that. So it'll usually be about 0.7. But in general, there'll be a lot of puts. And when those puts are there, they don't get paid off. So this is what's happened in November. There's a huge amount of puts that were entered the market during October, during September, during August. People added heaps here. 380 is the max pain. I wouldn't use this reading unless you're in a channeling market. And when you're in a channeling market, you can use the SPY reading, such as 455, or the QQQ, or any of those two combos. Hopefully that makes sense. Channeling market, max pain theory works very well. Out of channeling market, it is a 1% decisioner. So you only use it for a very small amount of your analysis, if you so choose. It's a bit of a waste of time. Now, in regards to put call walls, let me see if I can bring that up. 1 second. Let me grab one. Okay. So we'll grab this one because it has no bearing. And then we'll grab this one here for whatever the stock is. So we've got 2 put call walls here. Here's the first one. So put call walls are very good to use as outlier points. Sometimes you'll see like a massive big line, and that might be $150 on Apple. And when it's $150 on Apple and there's just one giant call expiring that Friday and it's at a technical resistance where the market's at that resistance at that point, do we think we might want to use this as a call wall? Absolutely, because the chances are is the market will not want to expire those options above 150. They'll allow them to expire, then they'll push the market through. And the teller is going to be one giant random line of options sitting there. It's usually retail sitting on one strike or some big player sitting on one strike. They'll wait till it expires, then it will break through. That's the way you use it. Same goes for the put. If we have a market coming down and there's just one giant line here on a put and the market is coming down like this, it will hover around that level. We kind of saw that happen with Tesla last week at 1K. So I'll bring this into the YouTube videos when it's used, but this is in general how you use it. This chart here is unreadable and therefore completely pointless to use put call ratios because it's all over the place. There's no clear outlier. If this thing was like over here in comparison to everything else, we'd use it. We will not use it when it's not an outlier. Here's an example of maybe a bigger outlier point. See how this is so much bigger than anything else around it? So this 45 level on whatever stock this is going to hopefully be a technical level and we can use it together. So that's how we really want to stick with that. Yeah, that's what we want to stick with, this idea that this is so much bigger than everything else. Hopefully there's technical analysis resistance there. And remember, at first is TA. Second is our data. So first is our TA, second is our data. The data does not override our TA. So if we have a resistance at 45 and we have the data to back it up, tick, tick, tick. That's a good one when you're looking at it. Kim says, Apple has been a nice stock to write weekly credit on recently. Yeah, it's not moving. It's not doing anything at this stage. Monica says, since I've learned this from Tom, I've watched Apple stay pegged to 150 for days. Yeah, it's floating around there. And if you load the actual data on Apple, you'll find that it has actually been writing a lot of 150 puts, 150 calls, and we continue to see strong strike movement from there. So there's still strong random strikes here. We saw it with Tesla. Remember when Tesla was floating around? Part of the reason it was floating around was there were all these options there. If you notice, the week that it went through, the options dried up. They were completely dried. And part of the reason why that happened is because earnings happened. When earnings happened, everyone closed their orders and got rid of them all. And they dried up and then it went, woohoo, we're free. Right now, Apple is still heavily bullish on that 150. Someone keeps buying it. I don't know who the hell keeps buying it, but someone is buying it, and it looks like Kim is selling to them. BTC back to 60. Yep, we haven't seen the break underneath there and close. So the only thing we saw it go underneath. We didn't see it, unfortunately, get anything else. So it would have probably triggered people that don't wait for closes. We'll see whether it breaks through. Key resistance that you're looking for, 61.5. Nothing changes here for BTC. EV stocks are the new meme stocks for this week anyway. Correct, Dav. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much. DJ AJ says here, max pain for 380 for the QQQ is exactly the support I want to buy it at. Yes, you're right. And that's usually where you'll find the max pain sits. Usually the puts will either sit at the correct support or you'll get a max pain around there. Something that also can help you gain confidence in that level, DJ AJ. Thanks so much, everybody. We'll see you next week. Thank you for being part of the private member community. Thank you for joining us. And if you give us a big thumbs up, it does help us on this channel. We appreciate you all. And we'll see you in the channel. Bye for now.